3 things today, and all 3 of them are counted rather than claimed. First, I went back through every message I've typed into this project and measured it. 33 messages, 321 words, 48 videos, and the results say something quite rude about the advice to write one perfect prompt. Second, a study guide out of a 74,000-word novel, where every quote gets checked twice. And third, a question I asked that turned out to have 4 correct answers and no right one. Start with the one I found genuinely surprising when I ran the numbers on myself. The opening brief was 63 words. That's 20% of everything I've typed in the first message, which sounds like the perfect prompt advice working, until you look at what that brief actually decided. It did not decide the voice, the format, the lengths, the captions, or the entire way the videos get made. Every one of those came later, from someone looking at output and going, no, not like that. Here's the shape of it. The median message, after that first one, is 6 words long. 11 of them were 2 words or fewer. Literally, just the word yes, or the words day 5. And that works because a 2-word message arrives after you've watched something come out wrong, which is information the perfect prompt could never have contained. So that's the rule, and it's not really about prompting. You cannot specify a thing you have not seen yet. Writing a longer opening prompt is you trying to guess your own future opinion about output that doesn't exist. Write the short bad version, look at what comes back, and spend your words on the gap between that and what you wanted. Which is, by the way, exactly how you'd brief a person. One honest caveat. This is one project's log, and it's this one. But 321 words is 321 words. Second, the study guide, and the check that separates a useful one from a dangerous one. 6 passages, each one tied to a theme, each one with a chapter number on it. And then every single quote gets looked up in the actual text. Is it word for word, and is it in the chapter it says it's in? 6 for 6 on both. And that second check is the one people skip. A quote can be perfectly real and attributed to the wrong chapter, and you will not notice until you're standing in an exam hall citing chapter 14 for something that happens in chapter 17. Word for word is one test. In the right place is a different test. But here's the thing I actually want you to take away, because it's the difference between this helping and this quietly wrecking your grade. Ask for quotes with chapter numbers, not summaries. A summary is a thing you read instead of the book, and it feels like studying while producing almost nothing you can use in an exam. A quote with a chapter number is a pointer. It sends you back into the text at the exact page that matters, and then you do the reading, which was always the part that was going to work. Use it to find the 6 passages. Don't use it to avoid them. And third, the one that changed how I asked for things, which sounds dramatic until you see how ordinary the question was. Hardest by length is chapter 24, which is more than 3 times the size of most of them. Hardest by vocabulary, measured over an equal window so length can't cheat, is the very first letter. Hardest by rare words, words used 3 times or fewer in the entire novel, is chapter 2. And hardest by sentence length is chapter 4, averaging 29 words a sentence. Every one of those is a real answer to the question I asked. So the honest answer is that the question was broken. Hardest isn't something a chapter is. It's something a chapter is relative to a definition, and I never gave one. So any single confident answer would have had to pick a definition for me, silently, and then present the result as if it were a fact about the book. And that's the failure worth watching for, because it does not look like a failure. A wrong answer you can catch. An answer to a slightly different question than the one you asked, delivered with total confidence, you will not catch. It'll just quietly be about the wrong thing for the rest of the conversation. So when you get a clean single answer to a question that feels like it should be complicated, that's your cue. Ask which definition it used. If the honest response is that there are 4, you wanted to know that. And if you can't say which one you meant either, then that's the actual finding. And it's about your question, not the tool. So here's the test I've started running on my own questions before I send them, and it takes about 3 seconds. Is there exactly one definition that fits the words I used? And if the answer came back, could I check it? Hardest chapter fails both. There are at least 4 definitions and no way to check the result, because the result is only true relative to a definition I never gave. Longest chapter passes both instantly. And notice what the fix is. It isn't a longer prompt, and it isn't a better model. It's one word. Say longest, or densest, or slowest to read. The superlatives are where this goes wrong. Best, hardest, most important, most efficient. Every one of those is a comparison with the unit left out, and if you don't supply it, something will supply it for you. 3 things worth keeping. Spend your words after you've seen output, not before. The median message that built this was 6 words long. Ask for quotes with locations rather than summaries, because a pointer sends you back to the source and a summary keeps you away from it. And when you use a superlative, say what you're measuring, or accept that something else will decide for you. And there's a thread through all 3 of these that I didn't plan and only saw while writing it. All 3 are about the same thing. The gap between what you said and what you meant, and who gets to close it. The perfect prompt tries to close it in advance, blind, and mostly fails. The study guide summary closes it by deciding for you which 6 passages mattered. The word hardest closes it by silently picking a definition. Every time you leave that gap open, it gets closed by something that isn't you, and the closing is invisible, which is not an argument for writing more. It's an argument for looking at what came back and asking what it assumed. That's day 13. 3 shorts every day and a full cut like this each evening. Subscribe if it's useful to you.